My name is Terri Oberto. I'm a nutritionist, bioenergetic specialist, herbalist. Been doing this for 22 years now. Living essential oils. Why? Because it's all about energy. And God's plants are full of energy. And that's where all of these healing factors come from. In the Bible, there's way too many different oils that actually have been since before Christ. So thank goodness they discovered them. And so now we are utilizing them, especially this day and age, because of what is happening to our world. And so my purpose, my passion is to make sure that I'm so happy that we can start these classes again, to share the information and to try to keep people healthy, happy and healthy. Mm-hmm. And so today, the class that we're going to talk about is emotional freedom. Our last class was immune support. And so I felt that the emotion goes right with the immune support, because we are a whole, we are a mind-body concept, you might say. And so a lot of the emotions affect our cells. So I hope you enjoy it. And everybody can hear me?
Yes. Oh, perfectly.
Oh, this is kind of bright. Maybe I'm gonna stand behind you guys. Okay, so. Okay. There we go. So over 10% of the United States population is diagnosed with depression every year. I bet it's more now. 17 have reported depression in their lifetime. Anywhere from small children actually have, especially right now with the pandemic, and being alienated, being suppressed from their friends, their schools. Now children are finally going back to school, but they're having emotional problems because why? They're behind. They have not been doing enough schoolwork, and so they're falling behind, and that's really it's upsetting to them. So 18% or 40 million people seek treatment yearly. And then 20% of the United States population is diagnosed with depression before they reach adulthood. And then 20.9 million people are being treated for depression, anxiety, sleep disorders, and or bipolar. Also, autoimmune disease is being affected by emotional states. Between 14.7 and 23.5 million people, and up to 8% of the population are being affected by this. So, crazy. And other issues affecting our mental health. Social phobia, look at that, 15 million a year, 18 years and older. We see this a lot in Santa Cruz, California. Here in Reno, they've really been helping clean up the homelessness and the people who have mental disorders, and I'm so happy about that. But in California, they still have an issue. Eating disorders, that does affect your emotional state too. So eating disorders, 6%, 1% bulimia, and look at that, 2.8 binge eating disorder. Then we have ADHD, attention deficit, mostly in adults, 4.1%. Autism, 1 in 110 children by the age of 8. Most of them are either 2 or 3 years old. And it's more common in boys than girls. And then, of course, we have personality disorders, 9.1%. That's quite a bit, isn't it? Yeah. So,
can you define personality disorder real quickly?
That would be
borderline, personality.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of
I'm
different
thinking
ones.
schizophrenia. Yeah.
Well, bipolar.
That is a personality.
Yeah, and that is really a prevalent that I know of with a lot of people that I know of that have it.
Yeah. What else can cause illness from our brains, our mental being? Trauma. Of course, trauma is a huge one. From the day you were conceived, you carry emotional layers. Okay, and they can be carried on throughout your life unless you can deal with them. But how many people can let go? That's one thing I see mostly in my clients. They can't let go, even though they've had help or they've been somewhere to get help, they still have those layers because I have a way that I can test their lives, and it comes up with the years of trauma in their life. And then they jot them down, and then they say, okay, I need to let go of what happened to me when I was 2 years old. Or I get a lot of women who were, molested, and they have to let it go even though they've done the work. So, and then of course, stress is really the number one, I think, here right now in our lives. Fear, okay, the pandemic. The pandemic is causing a lot of fear with people, and people have to let go of that fear. Fear really, it kills the kidneys. So, even with that one area of the body, then it can affect the entire immune system. Then there's conflict, low sense of self-worth. There's that child abuse. There's biochemical changes in our system. So, and that happens through our lives as we go up our hill and we come down the other side, which would be menopause or menopause, whatever. And so there are changes that happen in our system. Also nervous and endocrine communication, neuropeptides, they can actually help us with our immune system, and or can be deficient and cause more damage. And our brain is the most powerful piece of our bodies, and we can overcome anything with our brain if we put our mind to it. So it's really important to always keep that intention. Attitude is another one, and then actually people who are negative in nature.
Which that'd be the personality.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. So mental stress strikes all over the brain. There's the cerebral cortex, the largest part of the brain, that's communication. Amygdala is for memory and emotions. You can see that in a lot of people with dementia and also Alzheimer's. And then there's the hippocampus for short-term and long-term memory. That's yellow. I changed that. Hypothalamus, which is your metabolic processes. That's really where all of the information is produced in the hypothalamus pituitary, and really important for hormones and enzymes, and trying to keep each and every cell healthy in your body. Also, the hypothalamus does affect our ANS, our autonomic nervous system, really important. The frontal lobes, there's your dopamine, there's your brainstorms, there's your stress, there's the reward on the other hand, and your attention. Then there's the locus coeruleus, which is part of the brainstem that responds to stress and panic. Well, the part of the brainstem is, it's right here, and it goes all the way down. Well, what's interesting is that it does affect the adrenal and the thyroid. Okay.
Can you point it out on there so that
Or show it
Show it over there on the back of your head. So
Right below that little curvature right there is where the brain stems, and goes all the way down through the cervical.
It's like that dent kind of in the back of our head.
Yeah, right from there all the way down. And once again, it affects the thyroid and the adrenals, but I also myself, I just learned something new. In my world, the bioenergetic world, it affects the liver. Yeah. I was really surprised to find that out. So, and then we have the limbic system, that's why we sniff all our oils, right? It's at the base of the temporal lobe, and everybody knows the temporal lobe is here, so it's more down in here. Emotion, behavior, motivation, long-term memory, and olfaction. Glasses on? Or are you okay? No, okay. All right, so neuron communication, really, these are the neurotransmitters. And the one thing that I wanted to bring up is serotonin. So, serotonin is our happy hormone. And where is the serotonin produced? 95% in the gut, not in your brain. Yes. So, this particular neurotransmitter, think about it. If you have a gut issue, you're not producing enough serotonin. Okay, and or it's being destroyed or reabsorbed. Okay, and then when you see the antidepressants, the neuron's ability to destroy or resorb the molecule is blocked. So it's really, it's important to have a good gut value too. Yeah. So, and always remember that if you want to come off of any of your conventional medicines, especially if they have to do with your emotional state, then you need to seek your practitioner and have them help you with it off.
Don't go cultured.
No,
It's
never.
dangerous.
Never. Yeah. So this is the depression cycle. You can see everything that actually affects our mental health. Some of those I already mentioned. Even energy. If you have low energy, it can affect your brain. You don't have good essential fatty acids. If you don't have good liver function, it's all going to affect your brain. And even with your digestive tract, it's gonna affect all of this. You can see, what else? There was one other exercise that's very important. Self-esteem, impulse pathway. Increased cortisol. So there's your adrenals. Not having any appetite, not being able to sleep. And then finally, it all hits down to depression.
What's the 5-HT?
That's tryptophan, so from Turkey.
And it's really good as a supplement when you have at least for me, I have SADS during the winter months.
That's seasonal
Affective disorder, and it does help a lot during those months to take the supplement.
And everybody's going through the new cycle now. We just fell into fall. And some people are already feeling the effects of it because of darkness.
No, because of the smoke.
And the smoke.
We actually had smoke all summer, so we got SADS all summer.
Yeah, we have, besides, supplements will help with all this, in addition, like, yeah, exercise, eat right.
Yes.
Okay.
Sleep, get your sleep.
Exercise.
And reduce the stress. That's the biggie. Reduce the stress in your life. Yeah, and that is a biggie. Yeah. So people who are really angry, that's also a biggie. Okay, especially right now.
World.
Yes.
With our world.
Yeah. So anyway, you can see all the symptoms of mental stress. It's just another little graphic that shows you. Look at this. This is one I was also surprised about. Over dreaming.
Really?
Over dreaming. Yes.
Even if they're good dreams, that can cause a problem.
Yeah.
Because your mind can't rest. Is that
Right.
what it is?
Exactly. So what does it do? It's overstimulation of the stress hormones.
Oh,
How
wow.
much REM or dream sleep is recommended?
7 hours.
Of the dream state though.
Oh, the dream state. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. I'll have to find that out. Yeah.
I'd be interested.
Yeah.
That's something I monitor really deeply right now with my sleep.
Yeah.
Because I heard, because somebody said at one time, and I'm not saying that I know anything, that somebody said 2, and somebody else told me no, it's more than 2 hours.
See, I
It's very
usually
important.
get an hour.
And but I'm like, really? And they said really, and they said ideally, and I think it was Linnell, our chiropractor. It's ideally 4
Hours of REM.
of REM. Yeah,
Wow.
because our mind and our body can't regenerate.
Yeah.
So if you're in the
Probably
nighttime,
getting almost 5 or 6 REM, but that's where you need.
probably
and the
overstimulated. Yeah. And I was very surprised because I was really happy I was getting 2, and she said you really need more.
I get 1 if I'm lucky, maybe an hour.
It's like, because I was monitoring mine because through this stress of the last 10 months and I was not sleeping, I was waking up a lot. And when she told me that, I'm just like, I got up to 2, and she goes, you need more, Dad. I'm like, oh, okay.
So is there things we can do to help ourselves get more of that?
Yeah. The other big thing is, as you can see at the very bottom, ruminating.
Ruminating.
That's my mama. She ruminates. Everybody knows what that is, right?
No.
Ruminating.
That's my
Ruminating
famous.
is
Most
having
people-
the thoughts over and over again, and we're thinking, what am I doing? Why did I not do that? While you're trying to sleep.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's really important. And I see too many people that ruminate.
But there's a a lot of things that you can do.
Yes.
That you can share with us.
Yeah, we're gonna do
And
it
it's
right now.
right, and that's what I thought you, yeah.
Yeah. So look at this. Bad news sticks longer in memory than good news.
Oh, wow.
Trapped emotions can cause illness. That's what I was telling you about the trauma and all that. Unpleasant encounters affect the brain more than pleasant ones. Fear, anxiety, and anger, there's your fight or flight or your adrenals. And then, this is a biggie too. Overacting to life's ordinary troubles can produce all of those. Anxiety, panic attacks, phobias, migraine, ulcers, high blood pressure, heart attacks, and depression. You know?
High blood sugar too.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I guess I should really add that one in there.
As a diabetic, I actually can document that.
Yeah, I will add that.
It's just another one. You just write it down.
When I notice, I'm like, why is my blood sugar high?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been really stressed today.
Yeah.
It works. It works.
So I love that little picture. It's more like 20% of women are diagnosed compared to 8% of men.
And why is that though? Is it because more women go and talk about
That's
it?
what I was wondering.
And then
Yeah.
we don't?
Men,
Or is it?
men are in denial.
Okay.
Period.
Oh.
Okay, that's all it is.
Okay.
They won't go to doctors, right?
No.
They're in denial.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does and it doesn't, because it all has to do with hormones, okay? It all has to do with, what else would I say, men?
I feel like men are the ones that end up in the hospital thinking they have a heart attack, but it's a cancer.
Yeah.
And then they don't end up getting any treatment. 'cause
Right.
like you said,
Yeah, denial, so. And then at the bottom there, 75% of autoimmune diseases occur in women, and mostly during their childbearing years.
And that's what happened to me
Yeah,
after I gave birth.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
how I
Blood
did
sugar
it.
dysregulation,
My
thyroid dysfunction, yeah.
Mhm. So, and why is that though? Because we are
Change our
childbearers? Is that why?
The babies take everything from us.
That's true.
That's right, yeah. So hormone affects our brain's function, our adrenals, the fight or flight. Once again, testosterone is a really good look-see as far as when I test people for emotional balance. And that's part of the hormone area, female male hormones. There's the insulin, the emotion, the blood sugar, the pineal has to do with sleep, inflammation, emotion, and pain. So those are just a few.
Just a few.
Yeah, just a few. Yeah.
Jeez.
So the other thing too, I see a lot of people with fibromyalgia, and sure, they're exhausted. They're always achy. They can't sleep. They're drowning their sorrows because they're like saying, "What can I do to help myself?" Even conventional medicine said there's no such thing as fibromyalgia, and I disagree. I totally disagree. So, angry cells. The statistics show that in all cases of fibromyalgia, there are elements of chronic condition. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Because they're always aching, and just like Marianne here with her acute symptoms. So, were you depressed during that era? Oh yeah. So
Beautiful.
yes, yeah. Okay, so what do they do for clinical treatments? Antidepressants, heart medication, anti-anxiety drugs, stimulants, blood pressure medication, hormone therapy, sleep disorder medications, and drugs supporting the autoimmune. And again, there are between 10 and 20 conventional medicines given to a lot of people. I'm talking millions. Yeah. Doctors just don't help them get off of them or treat them like we do as in a more natural state.
No,
To
because
affect them.
sleep too much. They give you stimulants
Yeah.
to keep you
You
awake.
know what they do
Yeah.
to strengthen me?
What?
Prednisone.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
that's one of the worst. My mom was on prednisone.
Ugh.
Yep. It was not happening. It was fun.
Oh, worse.
Wasn't fun. So anyway, as far as antidepressants, they give you Prozac, Paxil, Celebrex, and Zoloft. And actually, what it does is it imbalances the serotonin. We still have serotonin in our brain, but it's mostly produced in the gut. And guess what? when they're taking these conventional medicines, where does it have to go through?
Through the gut.
Yep, yep, yep.
Because basically those drugs are fake serotonin, right?
Yeah.
An artificial
Yeah,
serotonin.
But that's interesting because it says it's supposed to stimulate the production of serotonin in the brain.
Uh-huh.
But if you're not absorbing it, then
Right.
Absorbing it and or producing, because you've got to have a good gut to produce the serotonin that gets sent up into.
it's absorbed in the brain, produced in the gut.
And so, see that little thing there, the manufacturer's drawing of how Prozac stimulates the production in the brain to create the same kind of effects they created with LSD in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah.
Well, they experimented with LSD for treatment of anxiety and depression. In fact, I think those studies might be back up and going.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So finally, we come to what can really help us. You know, it's not just about the essential oils, but it's also the nutrition from Young Living essential oils. So again, they're a pure source of God's gift of plant medicine, and they're easy to acquire. Just contact your Young Living rep,
Yep.
and they will help us with our mental health and will help us stay healthy. So, you know, what are essential oils? It's the life, it's the blood of the plant, it's the immune system of the plant. It actually is considered liquid gold, as is stated in the Bible. And all of the parts of the plant are used: the leaves, the roots, the bark, the flowers, the bushes, you know, you name it. So, and then, I was going to put this in, but this is really important, you guys. You know, if we have a healthy body, we have our frequency ranges in our system, our energy frequencies range from 62 to 78. Okay, so then if people are getting this flu, like what's happening right now, look at that, 58. It drops from 62 to 78 down to 58. Viral infections, guess what? What are we going through right now? 55, it's dropping. Epstein-Barr, what is it affecting in most of our people who have COVID, people who are getting, what's the name of it? Re-COVID, I can't think of the name. Anyway, Epstein-Barr, why? The lungs. It all is about the lungs. Yep. And then tissue breakdown starts at 48 megahertz, cancer at 42, and then when you turn gray and you're on your last year in hospice, it's at 20. So think about it. There's no energy. Yeah.
But then being too high is not good either, right?
No, we want to be high. We want to be high.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so if, well, you said the normal typical is 62 to 78.
Right.
If you're above 78, that's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
Good. Yeah. And then.
Roxy, it's okay.
Is that yours or mine?
So anyway, and our essential oils start at 46 megahertz. But Rose, it's as high as 320. She did here next door.
Yeah.
It's okay, love, there's
She's
no
counting
way.
as, she's counting as somebody's. Yeah.
So by applying essential oils to our body, then we're protecting it from the onslaught of disease and sickness. So right now, I think everybody, and I didn't have time to get it out, but I think everybody should be using white angelica.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I'm using angelic with
Yeah.
it. Yes,
What
right,
is that?
It's essential oil to protect you.
Yes.
All over me?
Well, you just go.
Oh,
And then
you
you
just put it up your
Yeah,
nose?
you just smell it.
Or just,
Yeah.
put it up your nose.
I do just a drop.
Drop,
I
and
do
then you
the
just put your
crown, and then I
Yes.
And then
brush.
And shoulder.
And then I learned this too. I learned that to really protect yourself, it's like you put it on your crown, you put it around your wrist.
Yeah,
And around your ankles, because then it locks it all in.
Yeah.
And inhale. Yeah.
I like that. I like
It
it.
is, what's your name again?
Deborah, you want to demonstrate?
Yeah, Deb.
Oh, yeah. I'll demonstrate for Brent. Okay, Brent. Yeah.
I'm demonstrating for you.
When you take the white angelica, first you activate it with one drop, and sometimes more comes out because that means you need it. Okay? And then you clockwise 3 times, right? That activates it. Then put some on your head, your crown. Then lock it in here, and on your ankles, and breathe. And if you want some extra, then put some more on, and then you can diffuse it too.
Well, let me ask you, if it's hard to get the oils out, by vice versa, does that mean you don't need that oil?
Well, usually,
Some oils-
well, when it's harder to, when they drop out, it's because they're usually thicker, they're denser, and so you just have to wait a little bit longer. And then there's a, what's it called, an office, or something like that, and you just turn it, orifice, and you turn it, and then it just takes longer, and then it drips out. Yeah. So it's not that I don't need it. No.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And if you don't like the scent of an oil, it means you need it.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, yes.
Well, then it grows on you.
Yeah, then it grows on you. And if you don't like it, put it on the bottom of your feet. That's where, or in your ears, because that's where all of our meridians are. Yeah.
It takes within 20 seconds.
Yes.
So just.
Can I give everybody some? Would you like some? Absolutely.
Of course. See who gets more than I got. Oh, she shakes it. No, I'm good. Yeah.
That's just like.
Never heard that concept of mocking it.
Well, I learned that from a massage therapist, JT, that is in our business.
He taught me that in the very beginning about white angelica.
It's FYI, animals, white angelica is amazing for animals.
Yes.
As well.
Really?
Yeah, especially if they're anxious.
Yes.
And even if they bark a lot too.
Yes.
Where do you put it? Where?
Come here, I want to give you some.
On animal, I will say it's
You know?
and then I will pet and sign.
Okay. She's so sweet now. She does a good job. Yes,
She went right into her system because
she's your blonde Angelica.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, she's so.
Wait, you
good.
did-
Brand, you said something?
Oh,
Did Brandon say something?
Brandon, do you have a question? Oh, you did? Yeah.
So
Hi, I'm here. No question.
So you can,
Hello.
you can inhale it, of course, you can apply it topically, you can ingest most of them, and you can actually just.
Some lotion on you. And your.
Something right there,
So
Looks like a bug bite.
called healing. And in that kit, we have valor, harmony, forgiveness, present time, release, and inner child. Valor promotes a sense of strength and courage, good self-image and confidence. It keeps the fears, anxiety, and stage fright. It enters the limbic system to elevate your mood. Supports structural and emotional balance. It's called our chiropractor involved. So I use it when I give raindrops. And then also it's been used for people who have seizures.
I was just listening.
Roman soldiers used to soak in valor. And it was told to them that it would empower them and to feel strong and confident and balanced. And of course, you rub it on the base of the skull all the way up to the top of the head. And that is, name of that. And then also vitaflexing on the feet. So, and then we have harmony. I love harmony. Harmony is really good for opening up your chakras. The chakras have a physical process, but also the emotional process. It helps cleanse the blood. It harmonizes you in general. It makes you feeling non-confrontational. It will actually help balance hormones, and it's really good when you're for your spirituality. So, and the harmony contains all of those different single oils that has been blended together. Yeah, rosewood, Roman chamomile, and it actually has rose in it too. So, yeah. So I usually rub that on all of my chakras.
I don't smell anything.
No,
No,
you don't.
no. You don't smell anything?
You smell that?
A little
She's
bit.
been a little plugged up.
Oh, that's right, because it's.
She's got allergies, yeah. So anyway, love harmony. So Gary Young, he said anytime there's stress, it's not in the present. Okay, so this is called present time. Too many people live in the past. Okay, trauma brings things out of the past. It affects the thymus. The thymus is your immune system. Okay, neroli, which is in there, evokes the moment, so it brings you into the present. And spruce is life-giving. It gives you power, but it also anchors you. And then, of course, ylang-ylang is for hormonal balance, both for men and women. So usually, the other one that I like too is called Believe. It's one of the newer oils. And that one you place on the front of the neck. And it's really effective, enhancing positive health talk.
Say it again.
Believe.
Oh, okay, so it's not pictured, it says present time, but okay.
Yeah, down below, I just added Believe. And
Okay.
so it's effective in enhancing positive.
Also, was belief in that one kit, or was that a convention?
That was a
in the
convention.
past?
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah. It's not in the.
I think we were given
It
a
was,
couple
the-
of bottles.
it was the
Yeah.
second convention in 2013. That was the title of, or whatever you call it, of the convention to believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
2013.
So if someone is battling negative talk,
Yes.
Yes.
this might be a good one.
Yes, yes,
Diffuse it's good too.
And,
yes.
and also diffuse it too.
Yeah.
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 So you wear it and be a human diffuser around those people.
Yes.
That's what I do a lot of times. I wear it purposely when I'm around certain people.
Yep.
Certain oils to help the situation.
Then one of my favorites is called Release. It has a ylang-ylang, lavender, geranium, sandalwood, and the tansy. Gary Young believed that this was really a liver pancreas issue. The liver stores memory, but it's usually anger or frustration. Your pancreas has to do with worry. It releases the feeling of being stuck, and it actually helps you to remember things, but also remember to let go.
And lavender is different than lavender.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
There is a
It's the same family, isn't it?
yes,
Same
yeah,
family.
yeah. So there is a feedback loop with the pancreas, liver, gallbladder. You know, the gallbladder also has to do with indecisiveness. So if you've got anger or frustration, if you've got worry and then indecisiveness, can you imagine the imbalance in that? And what is the liver? It's the second largest detox organ in our bodies.
Second?
So,
So
yeah,
is it
the
the
skin
last?
is,
Oh, the skin's
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was gonna ask you.
So if your pancreas isn't working, if your liver isn't working, if you've got a liver issue, and or if you have no gallbladder, or if you have gallbladder stones, then your whole feedback loop is broken. So release is really important for this. Yes.
So I heard you say gallbladder's indecisiveness.
Yes.
I've also heard it's resentment. Gallbladder, no,
Yeah,
anger is liver. Yeah,
Anger,
but I've also
frustration.
heard,
Okay.
yeah, I've also
Okay.
heard, and I've
Resentment.
read it as resentment
Yeah,
too, having
okay.
resentments.
That's
Yeah.
liver or gallbladder?
Gallbladder.
Gallbladder.
So it's not only indecisiveness, it's also resentment.
That makes sense. Yeah. I'm gonna check that.
Well, I learned that in the last 10 months over things that emotional stuff in dealing with them from chiropractic care, and also Louise Hay has affirmation books
Mhm.
that and part of people overcoming cancer, and it's that whole cycle of what you just said with the three things,
Yeah.
the anger, resentment, frustration, indecisiveness, and it's a worry, and it's a whole cycle.
Yeah.
Because even if one's off,
They're
and then
all
they
gonna
all
be
off, and then you have this vicious cycle between them all, and then it.
Okay, moving on. We've got What is that?
Forgiveness.
Oh, forgiveness. So Gary Young, again, these are his words, 70 times 70, never stop forgiving. You need to erase your memory of trauma.
But also that's biblical too.
Yes.
This is the Bible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't be healed until you forget, so never forget.
And it's
So never
it's-
forget.
Right.
He felt that forgiveness moves us beyond the emotional barriers. And so also the biggie is to release negative emotions. So this one, you actually, to change your thoughts, you apply that over your navel. And that's where this, which is the central meridian where all the nerve fibers are, but that's your life force. That's your belly button. Okay, that's your mother, that's your life. So
This one has been big,
yeah,
like every day.
wow.
Sometimes day.
What is it? How should I do it?
Sometimes. Yeah. I've been needing this for a while, but it's been very helpful, especially if you pair it with an app.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And as far as like change your thoughts, I don't remember what, they don't have any of that, do you?
Everybody does. Everybody.
No, I meant, I have a name, I know that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So if you're trying to work on changing thoughts, this would be a good one.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was directly from Gary.
Yeah.
He's the one that
okay.
put this all together.
And may I
That's
speak
great
into
to
that
know.
just for a moment? Even though you might not have forgiveness, if you're in the intention of forgiveness, you do have the main oils from your kit.
Yeah.
And I always call that the first aid oils. I'm sure you have some lavender. Okay, so what I'm saying is that even though you don't have that as your intention and to be forgiving, and you could use your affirmation, but you could also use your biblical scripture with your lavender oil. Okay.
And I have a graphic on that.
Yeah.
It shows all the oils and
Mhm.
what it does for each in that one kit.
Mhm.
So then we've got inner child. Gary Young again, lose identity as a child, lose your mom, lose your wife. So and so and so's mom got abused, that kind of thing. So put the drop on the pad of the thumb and against the roof of your mouth.
Oh, okay. I've got a Parkinson's, anything to do with it.
Yeah. Well, look at it, orange and tangerine,
That's
lemongrass. So
Morales.
yeah, all of those can be ingested. So children love orange. Tangerine invokes happiness. Neroli increases your value or your worth. Spruce anchors you, gives you strength and empowers you. Jasmine gives you your feminine energy. But men need it too, believe me, because they have the same hormones that we do. And then lemongrass is very rejuvenating and balancing. So, and this one really does improve mental clarity. I forgot about that. It improves mental clarity. Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah. But that one, I like that you can put it on your thumb and then against the roof of your mouth. Here we go. So here's the everyday oils to help with mental stress. I've got 9 oils and it's sheets in. Or 11, whatever. Valor, apply to your shoulders for courage. Put Panaway to relieve negative memories, believe it or not. And Panaway is for pain too. And then you've got peace and calming. You can apply that anytime to the bottom of your feet or inhale it. Frankincense to the top of your head for your spiritual connection. Then you've got lavender for calming your nervous system. We have lemon to cleanse the anger from the liver. And we have peppermint to rub on your abdomen to help with digestion and release any negative emotions stored there. Purification, it helps with heart functions. It also helps cleanse the blood. And then, of course, these for protection and courage and also immune support. So that's the Everyday Oils kit. That's cool, huh?
Yeah.
Other helpful products, quickly going through this, there's the Core Supplement Kit. We have the Life 9, which Carol, I gifted you. We have this super B-zyme that is definitely, I mean, up your dosages, 2 or 3 times a day if you're, especially you, Tony, with so much stress.
You said that's the
Yeah.
stress support.
Yeah, that is. Mhm. And then we have Rutavala, we have Tranquil to help calm you down, and then of course Stress Away. So those are also really good to carry in your purse or wherever you carry things.
Rid of the law will knock me out almost
Yeah.
by my bed.
Yeah, yeah. And then we've got sulfurzyme for pain. We have essential zymes for your digestive enzymes, but you can also use essential zymes between meals as a pain reliever or inflammation. And then we have sleep essence to help you sleep. Okay. And then of course, Progestins Plus. I like this one because it basically is kind of like it's like pregnenolone. It actually helps balance all the hormones in your system. So if you're having issues with that, then it's going to actually help you with with mood swings mostly. But it also is very good for your immune system. As you can see, it reduces sweats and flashes, but it helps with immunity. And then, of course, here's our Ninja Red, my mom's favorite. She guzzles it.
I know, I don't have any.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. It's there?
Yeah, it's there.
Oh,
It's in the med room. They give you it every day.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and I'm gonna take 2 more bottles. Too.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So it's rich in immune stimulating polysaccharides. It prevents DNA mutation, so no big C. It has 21 amino acids. It helps your blood from becoming oxidized. 3 times the antioxidant activity of green tea. It protects your heart. It reduces cholesterol. It helps healthy brain function, and it supports thyroid. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And you can see the ORAC value. This is Ninja Red. This is 1,500. That's how much more valuable it is compared to Zingo or what's this one? Goji berries.
Is that Noni or something? Norani?
Yeah, Noni.
Okay.
Noni. So you can see what our Ninja Red does.
And that's based on a 2-ounce shot of it, right?
Yes,
2
yeah,
ounce.
and that's
Okay.
the ORAC.
And that's
value.
just a 2 ounce once a day.
Yeah, that's once a day unless you're having these symptoms,
Yeah.
then you want to go to 4 ounces a day. My mom guzzles it, like I said.
That's why she's so healthy.
Yeah. So,
What's the
Yeah.
rule on how much you can drink a day, however much you can afford?
yeah. Exactly. So, I think the new person should be interested in looking at this. How many tomatoes, how many almonds, how many onions, how many, this is what is in the Ninja Red. Isn't that incredible?
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, that's something that I.
814 blueberries.
In each bottle, there's that much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why
Wow.
it's,
It's
yeah.
kind
Kind
of
of
expensive,
expensive,
that's
that's
why.
why.
No, it's not any more
It's not.
expensive than.
Well,
no,
not
I
if you
had
had
a
a vial.
vial.
Oh, yeah, if
no,
you had
yeah.
a vial. Yeah. And then it would spoil
That's
before
right.
you would even be able
Who could
to.
eat 814 blueberries?
Yeah.
One
They'd
of
be on the
the-
toilet all day.
One of the Royal Crown Diamonds did a video of it, and they did a shopping for Whole Foods to get all the ingredients you would need for the Nisha. And I think the bill was $400 and something.
What?
For
And
one
then
bottle.
and it was 2 cartons.
Wow.
Wow.
That's gonna order some of that today.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
So a healthy life requires responsibility.
Oh, she finally
You need
came
to exercise.
out of there.
You need to watch your diet. You need to have joy in your life. You need to be aware of your spirituality. You have to have conscious breathing. How many people hold their breath? Yep. My iWatch always tells me breathe, especially when I'm driving, because I'm such a defensive driver. Laughter is so important. There's comedy channels on the Sirius XM, find a really happy channel and laugh. And then, of course, music is also very important. And then practice forgiveness, very important. And then be healthy and whole, take charge of your own health.
Can I take a picture of that one just before? This was
Sure.
so good.
Sure.
Also, in case any of you guys ever want to see these again, they are being recorded and I post these up in the manifest group and
Are you, do
everything.
you have,
And
maybe
you
you should come
also,
over here.
Carol, oh, you got it, you got it?
Oh, you
Good,
got
she
it?
Good.
She got a butt shot.
And then, when we make the next announcement of the next class,
I post
you,
the
you post the link of this class. so
They
that
live
way
on the
people go-
YouTube channel
Yeah,
for
They go on
forever.
the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then what's the title of the YouTube channel?
It's my
Oh.
YouTube channel, so once you click into one of the links for one of the classes, you can access everything. And I've taught many classes as well. Those are
Yeah.
all posted there. Any of the ones
Yeah,
Terri has done
yeah.
recently are there.
Yeah.
Everything except for the convention class.
So, but what's the
which
name of the YouTube channel?
I
do you
will have
know?
to get it to you. It's mine. If you look Tony Evans, it's under
Just,
me.
okay, good.
Yeah.
That way I can get it to more people. And
Anyway, you wanna unmute them and see if they have any questions? Thank
Yeah.
you all.